introduced to us, and it was disruption. And last year threw us in the deep end of disruption. And we had to learn how to manage this, how to be more agile, how to be more flexible, how to deal with uncertainty, and how to still deal with uncertainty because we still aren't out of the pandemic yet. So this is why we need to think differently with how we plan, whether it's personal goals, our professional development, and how we can achieve these goals and still remain relevant in our careers. And you need to take time, small actions to focus on your development, to be able to adapt these changes as best you can. So I found this article from Innovation Resource Consulting Group and Robert Tucker. He's an innovative keynote speaker. He wrote about why you need a personal innovation strategy. And with inevitable change, a strategy will help each of us thrive as best we can through the change. So there are 4 key components to building your personal innovation strategy, according to Robert Tucker. So number 1, invest in your future every day. So your personal innovation strategy should be a well thought out set of goals, habits, and daily actions that ensure your relevance over time. And number 2, identify where you are and where you want to go. If you're serious about taking control of your life, start by visualizing and fantasizing into your future you most want it to be, and let your imagination go. Number 3, dig deeper. Do a deep dive into the business side of your organization, figure out how your company's business model is holding up in today's world of disruption and change. And lastly, the 4th, which ties in nicely with this evening, is it's develop new skills. So over and above your functional and technical skills, the most valuable skills you can add to your repertoire are the ones he calls I skills, short for innovation skills. So whatever your position or your industry, you have the ability to innovate. You can find new and better ways to get the job done, discover a new opportunity where people may just see problems. So 2020 really gave us a kickstart on adapting to change quickly. And now as we move forward, we can leverage these new tools that are available to us in our innovative planning and to continue to manage change in when we start developing our personal and professional development plans. So that's, I think we just get into the, oh, I'm sorry, I just got a message and got distracted, my apologies. And I think let's just get into the evening and introduce our important role players for tonight. So first up is our counter. And Paul will be taking control of this role. Paul, would you please describe your role?
Good evening, everybody. I'm very happy to join you because I was struggling to link in, but here I am, and I will count your and ha counts. So Laurie, you got already 3 of them, you know, and 2 aha. So I take note of everything. And I think not to be nasty, but it's just to improve your skills. So I will do it with a smile. I know that I do a lot of hums and hums, but now I will calculate and will take careful note of everybody and just to improve your skills. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster.
Well, thank you, Paul. I was hoping I slid in before you started counting, but I guess I wasn't off the hook that time, so I'll take it. Thank you. All right, so next up we have Nick, who will be our grammarian, and will you please describe your role?
Before I describe my role, I forgot to do the loyal toast as step-in president. So if everybody could please, even if you're virtually, raise your glass and let's toast for South Africa and all her speakers. South Africa and all her speakers.
South Africa and all her speakers.
Thank you, Michelle. Back to my role. I am the grammarian, and as part of the grammarian's role, it's to choose a word of the day. And my word of the day is diffident. Diffident, the definition for it is hesitant in acting or speaking through a lack of self-confidence. And to use that in a sentence, because Sarah had never sung in public before, She was diffident about trying out for the talent show. I'll post it in there so you can see diffident. Please try and make use of that word if you're a speaker and when you do impromptu speaking. I'll also look out for any creative language, good use of the English language, and also somewhere where we use slang or colloquial language. Back to you, Laurie.
Excellent. Thank you, Nick. And next up, we have our timekeeper. Vanya, would you please describe your role?
Hi, everyone. I will be the timekeeper and we'll have a video background that has a time when the screen will go green, yellow, and red for the speakers to keep track of their time. 5 to 7 minutes for prepared speeches, 2 to 3 minutes for evaluation speeches, and 1 to 2 minutes for impromptu speeches. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Vanya. All right. So our first speaker tonight is Shireen, and Shireen has Michaela evaluating her speech. Michaela, would you please tell us about your role and explain the project?
I'm not sure if you can hear me. Just let me know. Awesome. So the last time I felt quite diffident in this because I was not prepared to evaluate John's speech. But today, Shireen, my technology is working on my side, so I'm full ears and ready for you. The purpose of today's Shireen's speech is essentially to present a speech on any topic, as well as receive feedback and apply whatever she learned from the last time she did her speech. This is her second speech. Essentially, it needs to last between 5 to 7 minutes. As well as everything I've just wrapped up, I think I've got everything. I'm not as diffident as I thought I was.
Thank you, Michaela. All right, so please welcome Shireen. The title of her speech is Finding Your Voice. So Finding Your Voice by Shireen.
Thank you. I just want to be able to see where the timekeeper is, please. If we can just, I can pin the timekeeper. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And everybody can hear me? Perfect. Good evening, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. Let me take you on a journey. Chinatown in Altry, and I know we have some people from America and all over South Africa, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a picture. Chinatown is a big market with lots of shops, Chinese shops that sells all sorts of different things, clothing, ornaments, furniture, you name it. It had just opened up. It was the biggest craze around. I was 9 months pregnant with a massive belly with my first son. It was Friday, the 12th of September, 2013. We walked about Chinatown for about 2 hours that day. And because I love shopping so much, even though I was waddling about with this massive belly, walking like a duck, I went into every single store. I returned home that evening and I was exhausted. So what I did was I went for a nap. And after waking up from my nap at 6 p.m., I put my legs over onto the side of the bed. And as I stood up, whoosh, there was a gush of water that ran out from under me. My water had just broke. The next couple of hours was filled with excitement and nervousness and much more. And my doctor had told me before that I didn't need to rush to the hospital if my water had broken. So of course, I had a cup of tea with my mum. I packed my bag, I shaved my legs, and then eventually made my way to the hospital. At this time, it was about 8 o'clock that evening. I got checked in, and because my contractions hadn't started yet, the nurses told me, Macy, your man kan nou huis toe gaan. And in English, that was in Afrikaans, but in English that means, girlie, your husband can go home now. And the reason he could go home was because my contractions weren't that much. And they said he can go home and rest because when the baby comes, he's going to be very tired. Nevertheless, at midnight, my contractions started eventually. The nurses still said that it was very mild and that they couldn't call my husband as it was too soon. I sat in my room against the cupboard. I was diffident. I had my pillow popped up against the cupboard, my head against the pillow, and I was breathing. Because I didn't want to make a noise and disturb the other lady that was in my room. I almost said my hotel room. Nonetheless, hours went by, and eventually in the early hours of the morning, my contractions started to be more serious and more heavy, and the nurses said, okay, Macy, ons kan nou papa bel. We can call dad now. More hours went by, and unfortunately, there was hardly any fluid left in my womb. Baby was in distress, and I was exhausted, and I had to have an emergency Caesar. I signed the papers at 1 p.m. on Saturday, the 13th of September, 2013, and my son was born at 1:35. Connor Luke Onia. Wow, when he was taken out of my tummy, he was so quiet. The minute they put him onto the scale, he found his voice. Wah! Wah! He screamed. Being pregnant with our boys was one of the most beautiful memories that I've ever had. Knowing that your body is so capable of creating life, it is a miracle. As parents, we aim to protect our kids all the time. We protect them from falling. We protect them from evil or bad influences. We teach them our family values. We teach them to be respectful, appreciative, grateful. We teach them to enjoy every moment in life. We encourage them to make friends, to go to school, because school is fun. They get to make and see their friends. They get to be active in sports. They play team sports, and they get to learn the rules and learn how to work with other people. We teach them to be inclusive. We teach them to share. We teach them the power of emotion, the power of a hug, the power of holding someone's hand when they are sad or feeling lonely. Then lockdown in March 2020 happened. Eventually, when the kids went back to school, now we had to encourage our kids to go to school. You will see your friends, my boy, but not all of them, as they will all go on different days. There will be no sports and no extramural activities because it's not allowed. You can go to school, but you cannot play as it's not allowed. You cannot share with your friends anymore. You cannot hug. You cannot shake hands. You cannot hold hands. You cannot be with your friends anymore as you used to. As parents, we try and teach our kids not to disclose any unnecessary information to strangers. We teach our kids to show their smiles and to show their emotions when they are happy, sad, or uncomfortable. How now do we encourage our kids to do this? When arriving at school, they are questioned or interrogated with all these scary questions. Do you have COVID? Were you around anybody that has COVID? Do you have a fever? Do you have a cough? 100%, the schools are doing everything that they can to protect the kids and do what they can so the kids don't feel uncomfortable. But school is not the same. Yes, we educate our kids on everything that is happening. Yes, we encourage them that things will be okay. And we tell them that all of this is in their best interest if they just follow the rules. But Mom, Dad, how do I show that I'm sad or if I'm smiling if I have to wear a mask all day? My mask is hot, it's uncomfortable. I can't hear my teacher speak. I can't hear my friends speak. And sometimes my teacher can't hear me. Mom, Dad, I'm scared. What if I say the wrong thing when I'm being questioned? Mom, Dad, what's the point of going to school when I can't play with my friends? Mom, Dad, I don't want to video my friend. It's not the same. I want to play with my friend on the field, on the playground. Mom, Dad, I am scared. How do I know that my friend or my teacher or I don't have COVID? How do I know I'm not going to affect you or Dad or our grandparents? The psychological effect on our kids during this time has been so evident. In fact, for us as adults too. We need to keep sharing information with them. We need to keep talking to our kids and those around us to support each other. Some of life's lessons are changing, and we, with our kids, have to adapt quickly. We need to avoid a society of introverts and a society of fear. These things harbor your ability to move forward, to progress, and to show your magic. Let's not let our kids' magic be lost. Let's be their voice of reason. Let's be there to listen to them when they need it the most. Let's listen to hear and not to answer. Let's help them to find their voice. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters.
Let's give her a nice round of applause. Shireen, that was amazing. And last year really did throw us for a loop with the pandemic and how to parent, and sharing your story and taking us down this journey. It's a wonderful story to share. And parenting, yes, it's one of those most challenging but most rewarding jobs we could ever have asked for. So thank you for sharing your story. Wonderful. Okay. All right. So now we have our second speaker, and Michelle will be speaking, and Nicola will be evaluating her speech. Nicola, would you tell us the criteria for Michelle's speech?
Hello, I'll be evaluating Michelle. So while I'm evaluating, the purpose of this is for the members to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. So I'll be looking at her strengths, areas of improvement, and then I'll be giving suggestions and a summary. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nicola. So please welcome Michelle. The title of her speech is My Social Dilemma. My Social Dilemma by Michelle.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. President, Madam Toastmaster, and fellow Toastmasters. How many of you feel that the world we are living in has gone completely mad? And how many of you sometimes feel totally disconnected? I do. I have a dilemma, a social dilemma about social media, and I do not feel diffident about it. In recent weeks, we have all uncovered how we are so fearful and frantically looking around and scurrying because Facebook and WhatsApp was going to disconnect us. And what we did, we researched everything on Google to try to stay connected. We downloaded apps like Telegram and Signal, because how could we possibly be disconnected in this big wide world? This intense need to stay connected, it grips me, and I don't want it to. But like millions of individuals, I'm right here. How have we become products and puppets of this online digital world? I honestly struggle with it. In a world where I strive to be as authentic and genuine as possible, I feel far more removed from human contact than ever before. I feel like a sham, that I'm waiting for the acknowledgement for a like or a little notification that someone has viewed my post or story. Forget procrastination. Social media is the real thief of time. This was said by Mike Abel, a marketing and communication specialist of MNC Saatchi Abel. The word social is defined as needing companionship and therefore best suited to living in communities. Now, what puzzles me about social media is how we are so controlled by who we see, what we see, and how we get to react on our feed. The algorithm, for me, does not support building community building. And what I find is that there is the freedom to really engage with people whenever we wanted to has been taken away from us. And the intention to build community is not there. It is as if they are starving us to feed us. In the movie Social Dilemma, we are confronted by the reality that we are products being sold. We are the product that is being sold to everyone that is on a social media platform. Is that not scary? Because I'm afraid. Over the last few months, we have all experienced how COVID has impacted our lives. We have been fearful, we have been anxious, we have been vulnerable, and more than anything else, we have had a fear inside of us. Why? because we are bombarded every single minute of every day, and we cannot escape the reality. Have you heard of social media detox? It's a bona fide comment and statement. I am unplugging to unwind. I'm taking a break to be on my own with my thoughts. I am posting less to do more. What platform that is healthy for you needs you to rejuvenate and rebuild yourself? Surely we can all glow and grow off social media and off Instagram. Why would we need to take a break from social media? I do understand that for business, marketing, and sales, social media is a brilliant tool. And I acknowledge that it has built communities of people around the world, and it has connected people, and it still continues to do so. But what I don't understand is how we can allow for the self-destruction. I fear that we have become more disconnected because of it, less social as a result, and more anxious as a society. We have a responsibility and duty to our future generations to create authentically connected communities. And that is our responsibility to do. My problem, in essence, is that there are too many people addicted to social media. And I actually, to be very honest, I envy those that have not been pulled into it. I feel they have a greater sense of inner peace and that they have a sense of mindfulness and harmony in their lives. They are not a slave to this master called social media. They are also do not have a thief of time. They do not concede to the need to belong and the pressure to belong. And more importantly, they do not long for the acceptance of strangers. And I know what you're thinking. Michelle, you should get a cave, build a tent, and go hide somewhere in the forest. And I understand that you may disagree with me, but this is my dilemma. What is yours? Thank you, Mr. President and Madam Toastmaster.
Oh, amazing, Michelle. And what a great perspective. It's become such a big part of our everyday life that you don't realize how easily you can get sucked in, that you would actually need a social media detox where you know, posting less to do more. So it is a slippery slope, but wonderful topic and great perspective. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that concludes our speeches for this evening. And if we could ask for the timekeeper's report before we take a short break. Vanya, could you give us the timekeeper's report?
Nice speeches, both of you. Shireen had 7 minutes and 14 seconds, and Michelle had 5 minutes and 49 seconds.
Okay, wonderful. All right, well, we are on 7 o'clock, so we can take a 5-minute break and we'll return at 7:05. Okay. Enjoy your break. Begin your evaluation.
Hi, Shireen, and fellow Toastmasters. Firstly, well done. I really enjoyed your speech. I'm quite far away from getting to the stage of being a mother, but I felt your journey throughout the way, and you kind of gave us the raw emotion and all the different emotions that you carried on through. So I absolutely love how from your tone of your voice and then your expressions with your hands, you started off very conversational about talking about Chinatown, and then it went to more of a very structured speech like. So perhaps that's where I lost you a bit, because I wasn't sure if you were going to give a speech or if it's going to be more of a conversational tone. But other than that, the storyline of the entire speech that you gave, it was well thought of, and how you built it together and brought it together to the more serious parts towards the end. I really enjoy that, and how it was you speaking about how quiet he was, and then as well as tying that into finding your voice, and then all of a sudden your son was on the scale and went wow, like that brought more attention to your speech, and you actually felt like you were in the room with your son. So I'm impressed that he was quiet until that moment. But carrying on, perhaps in areas where you can improve on, touching on the basis of the conversational tone, where you said mom and dad, perhaps you could have done it in a different tone, where you started mom, dad, like a curious child, and then as the questions progress, you go mom, dad, as a bit more like Ed and a bit more worried that all of these questions are piling on and the son doesn't understand. So then it could add to the whole draggingness of, if that's even a word, the drag of all of those questions and the heavy impact of what those questions brought you. So as a suggestion, perhaps choose between conversational tone or practice speech, just because merely I feel like your strength is in a practice speech. However, I could see you reading a little bit, and I feel that is something I also have to work on. And it's just, I guess it's so easy with your laptop in front of you to just kind of look and check, but perhaps that's something that you could work on. But ideally, I really enjoy it. I always enjoy your speeches, to be honest. It's quite an inspiration. You just carry a tone really well and you keep your audience captivated. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Michaela.
What a wonderful evaluation. Thank you, Michaela. And let's move on to our second evaluator. Michelle was evaluated by Nicola. Nicola, would you go ahead and give your evaluation feedback?
Well done, Michelle. I'm feeling a bit diffident about this evaluation after such a powerful speech. I thought you spoke very well and very clearly, and you were inside the time, which I think is also a bonus. Let me just find my notes. So I thought you spoke very clearly, and we never struggled to hear you, which was good, especially with Zoom. I think your topic was very appropriate because almost everyone can relate in some form, because I think most people have social media themselves or someone in their family has it. And we've all definitely seen someone or are someone that spends too much time on social media. And I thought you used alliteration. You said like fearful, frantic, scurrying. The words you used were quite nice and brought like images to mind when you said them. And then I liked your use of quotes as well, where you quoted Mike Abel, which I also thought was quite interesting, seeing as he does work in advertising himself. I think something you can work on or keep in mind is you were talking about a social dilemma, which is something, like I said, that we all know about. But I think maybe you could bring it back to yourself a little bit and make it slightly more personal, because you did talk about yourself a little, but I feel it is such a general topic. To make it less broad, you could like probably insert your own stories a bit more. That I think that might be quite nice, because we all do have our own personal stories about social media, and it would probably be quite easily for us to relate to that. And I think some suggestions or to challenge yourself is, so we obviously, like I've mentioned before, we all know about social media, so we've all heard it can cause addiction and anxiety. You can spend too much time on it. You can feel separated from people, but it might be quite interesting if you can back that up sort of scientifically or factually, just to sort of drive home this point of the issue that it is causing within society, because I feel like then it wouldn't just be echoing what we hear every day. But all in all, I think that was a very good speech and interesting to listen to and very applicable to all of us. So thank you.
Oh, wonderful,
Thanks,
Nicola.
Nicola.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the great feedback, Nicola. All right, Fania, would you like to give the timekeeper's report for the evaluation feedback?
Yes. Michaela had 2 minutes and 29 seconds, and Nicola had 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. And now it's time to move into table topics. And this evening, Nick is going to take us through the table topics as our table topics master. Nick, can you take the lead.
Sure. Kevin politely gave me some of his topics, so don't kill the messenger. And I see Leo has beautifully set up his camera and he's in a standing position. So Leo, can I give you a topic?
Go for it.
Sure. The first one is, cities are for people, not cars. So let's give Leo a big round of applause while he prepares in his 10 seconds in his mind for cities are for people, not cars, Leo.
Cities are for people, not for cars. All of us have to go somewhere every day, whether it's to work, let's go to the shops to buy something, or to even visit friends in lockdown notwithstanding. But we all know how we have to get there. And unfortunately in South Africa, due to our circumstance, only one main method of transport is our cars. But how nice would it be if we didn't have to take cars? How nice would it be if we could just walk around in the city centers and the people that we'd meet and the places that we'd see, and how much more relaxed we'd all be in our, on our 2 feet, alive to everyone around us, alive to the sounds, alive to the smells. How nice would that reality be? Therefore, in looking around us and having traveled a bit through Europe and having been to centers where cars are banned or there's only foot traffic allowed, I've been lucky enough to experience how wonderful that is. And that's why there's an argument to be made. Cities are for people, because with the people, we bring life and joy to others. Thank you.
Thanks for that, guys.
Nicholas.
Thanks for that. Andrea, would you like to take the next topic? Yeah?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
You just
Give it a whirl.
multitask here. The topic is, do uniforms in schools stifle individuality or promote equality? Yeah, so I'd like to introduce Andrea, and her topic is, do uniforms in school stifle individuality or promote equality? Andrea.
I am unfamiliar with any school that requires uniforms. That being said, I believe it depends on the school and the goal of the school. So for example, military schools, they do require that. And those who are attending it expect it. In our public schools, the kids are, there are rules as to what kids can and cannot wear to a degree as to what is permitted. But that changes as time goes on. There was a time when having green hair was unacceptable. Now it's okay to have green hair. It's a terrible color choice, but that's just me. There was a time when, well, no, I'm sorry, that's digressing into adults with tattoos. But for kids that are allowed that freedom, it's such a part of our culture to have your own individual style and to reflect who you are through your clothing, through your hair, through your shoes, through your language. And I do believe that's a very American thing. I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but definitely here, sometimes to the point of need to bring folks together a little bit more. These are difficult times in our country right now, for those of you watching the news may know, but I digress. Uniforms in schools. I've seen images of children in countries where they are wearing uniforms, and these are children that have never had school before. And I can appreciate them having uniformity to bring them together. So uniforms in schools versus none, I believe that it depends on the school. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Very diplomatic answer. You'll do great in South Africa. Can I see if Nadine is hearing us? I know you're, yes? Are you
Yes, I
happy
can
to
hear
take
you.
on that topic? I said I was going to rope you in.
Yeah, please. That'd be a
Great.
pleasure.
The next one is, who has been the most influential person in your life and why? That's quite a basic one, but I'm going to introduce Nadim with his topic. Who has been the most influential person in his life and why? Nadim, take it away.
Thank you very much. This is a very interesting point to reflect on, the most influential person, because I feel that there's more than one person actually who influence our life. Our life is not an hour, it's not a day, it's not a month, it's like years. So for me, the most influential persons, sorry for that. Okay, I'll just move away from the doggy. Sorry for that. For me, the most influential persons have been everybody, because I believe that we learn and we get education in various ways. And every person who we have met along the way have taught us something. And these teachings have made us who we are. So I would say that it is everybody, from a primary school teacher, from the stranger, I met, from the people, who I met today, they all contribute to who I am. So they do influence me. Thank you very much.
And that's so true. And at that stage, even the dog was an influence in the meeting.
I was gonna say, I think your dog's the biggest influencer.
Who else hasn't spoken? Paul, you're doing the counter. May I give you a topic?
Excellent, yep.
The next topic is, in what situation is lying a good idea? What situation is lying a good idea? Paul Guluans.
There is a fine line between lying and telling the truth, but I believe sometimes lying is important. I just take example. 3 days ago, I had to dismiss a person who was working as a manager. Now, his doctor told us that he had brain cancer 3 weeks ago. He received from the doctor a letter, or was informed about brain cancer. And the doctor told him, you got 4 weeks to live. Now, that's very wrong. I think the doctor should have said, listen, be hopeful, work on it, but don't give the person only 4 weeks to live. Because if you give that person such a negative hope, he's drawing down in a spiral and he will die very quick. So that doctor should have lied and should have said, listen, there is hope. There is hope as long as you can believe that you can work your cancer out, even if it's a brain tumor. You can go for radiation, you can go for other stuff, if you will believe it. So doctors definitely have to lie sometimes, don't have to tell the truth. And sometimes as a parents, we also have to lie to our kids and don't tell the truth. I mean, for instance, we celebrate in Belgium St. Nicholas. Now it's a saint who brings gifts. How do you explain to a small kid that they bring a large kicker to the chimney? And then the kids who are clever say, listen, no, well, we left the door open. Of course, St. Nicholas is not coming to the chimney. So I also lie sometimes to my kids, and for the good, because they need to be a kid. Yes, sometimes we have to lie, and for the good of the person, but not the lie, try to enrich yourself, not the lie that will diminish the person, but will just improve the person's situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. I love how you went very serious and then you brought the lightheartedness. So thank you for that. After Michelle's, when I asked my boyfriend if I'm fat, I was laughing, and then you were telling us about cancer. I was like, oh, don't laugh. Okay, we still have lots of time. Is there anybody that would like to do a table topic? I know Michaela's it's her favorite. We have 4 left.
Come, Michaela. You've got this.
Sure, I'll go for number 3 or whatever number you can throw at me.
Okay, the next one is team sports build strong individuals. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Michaela for her topic. Team sports build strong individuals.
Alrighty, so team sports build strong individuals. It's so weird how these table topics somehow just relate automatically to me, or I just think of something. So basically, in primary school, I wasn't the best sportsman, but I would try my hardest at everything. It was something that was said you had to do, so it was a goody two shoes. Of course, I did it. Going on and on and on, trials after trials, I would always end up in the C team. It was just something that was just very disheartening, especially for a little child. Went into grade 4, I think it was, and I finally made it to the B team, and it was the best year, and I finally got to go on the matches and tours, and it was a super exciting time of my life. Then it went to grade 5, and I was dropped back to the C team. Now, the C team, I didn't understand how did this happen, but the more I realized was, oh, the reason I got into the B team was because of a teacher that particularly liked me and felt bad. However, this is something that I grew out of and eventually went to high school. And I realized that being part of a team or being part of a sports team meant way more than what your actual position was. It meant a sense of community. Within that sense of community, each person brought something to the table, and that's what brought a team together. It eventually came out that I came out to be captains of teams and so on and so forth, because I was becoming more an individual. I was becoming more team focused, if you could say, rather than self-centered. But to me, that actually brought out more team leaderships in me. And without a group of people pushing me or a group that I had to perhaps lead, I don't think I would be able to ever find my individual characteristics. And now working at Two Fellas, I run teams, teams run me, and without a team, I don't think you can have an individual aspect. So thank you.
I love that. I just had to mark something down. The grammarian picked up something he wants to note later. We have 3 more left, and Laurie, just because you, okay, we'll go then. We'll give Laurie the other topic. Shireen, since you have children and you speak so nicely about them, this topic reads, children should not have cell phones. I'd like to introduce Shireen with children should not have cell phones.
Thank you, Mr. President, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters. Children should not have cell phones. I tend to disagree with that statement, and I have two reasons why I would disagree with that statement. And the first one is exactly with regards to the experience that we had through COVID-19 or through 2020 and still into 2021. I've been nagging my 12-year-old son, who by the way is 12 years old going on 21, but I've been nagging him about being on his cell phone and being on his device all the time and not sort of coming out of his room and talking to everybody else. And after months of moaning, my 12-year-old son came to me and said, "Mom, you do realize that this is the only way that I get to communicate with my friends while we're not at school. This is the only way that we get to play with each other or talk to each other or communicate with each other." So that's one of the reasons why I disagree that children should not have cell phones. The second reason I disagree that children at a certain age should have cell phones is because as a parent, when you are trying to look for your son for 30 minutes at school and you can't find them and your heart is starting to palpitate because you're worried that something has happened to them, at that particular moment, your child should have a cell phone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shireen. Okay, we have two more left. And Laurie, I am going to pick on you just because you're the what are you? The TM, the Toastmaster. My brain's working overtime, yeah? Your topic is, has Google made us dumb? I'd like to introduce Laurie with her topic. Let's give her a round of applause. Has Google made us dumb?
Has Google made us dumb? It's a very interesting question. You have two aspects. You have the one where you need to find an answer and you need to find it quickly. And I remember growing up and spending hours looking through an Encyclopedia Britannica to find the answer to a question. So you can find a quick solution, but also what did I learn by looking through an Encyclopedia Britannica that was like this thick? So I would say that I'm going to say no. And the reason I'm going to say no is because you can have access to information at any time that you need. I think the concern is what kind of information are you looking for? Because if you're looking for quick facts and figures, making sure that you get the right information and make sure it is factual and not fake news, because people can fall down a slippery slope where they look for specific answers, whereas you wouldn't have that situation by looking through a big Encyclopedia Britannica. On the other hand, also the information that not only does it need to be factual, but is it reliable and is it a proper source? And I think that just goes back to the what I was mentioning about the fake news. So I think it can be good as long as your sources are reliable and you can get answers very quickly. Thank you, Table Topics Master.
Well done, Laurie. It's between Nicola and Michelle and Vanya. So please, one of you put up your hands.
Ladies, go for it, ladies. Nicola's got this.
Okay, Nicola's got this. And Vanya's the timekeeper, so we'll let her off the hook. So the last topic, Nicola, ironically, I think Michaela would like this topic, and Verity. It is renewable energy can save the world. Let's introduce Nicola with renewable energy can save the world.
Well, I feel like I need to do some quick Googling to get the answer to that question. But I would say given my basic knowledge and the David Attenborough programs, documentaries that I've watched, I would say that renewable energy is the way to save the world. Recently, we drove up to the Red River. We drove past wind farms, and it's just incredible to see these massive propellers generating electricity pretty much from the wind, from nothing, in comparison to unrenewable fossil fuels, which eventually will run out. I think given the state we're in now, and after lockdown, I'm sure we've all had some time to reflect on the world and its state, we can realize that I think renewable energy is the way to go. I think in that regard, social media is also something that's quite important, because we can use it as a powerful tool to sort of spread the message, make people more aware of ways in which they can make a small impact, but an impact nonetheless, on how they can change their behavior and become slightly more better with what they do. I do think Michaela would have probably had a lot more to say than me, though.
Great, thanks, Nicola. And that concludes my role as Table Topics Master. We have made up our time that we had too much of, and I'd like to hand back to Laurie.
Thank you, Nick. And quite a diverse group of questions. You all did so well, and just different topics, and yeah, it was quite an interesting table topics session. So thank you very much. And we knew Nick was going to take charge and call out to make sure everyone had the opportunity. Okay, so Nick, are we going to vote for our favorite table topics now?
Yeah, yes, let's ask Vanya to give the times, and while she gives the times, I'll launch the poll.
Perfect. Vanya, would you please give us the times for our table topics this evening?
Yes. Leo had 1 minute and 30 seconds. Andrea had 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Nadim had 1 minute and 20 seconds. Paul had 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Michaela had 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Shireen had 1 minute and 20 seconds. Laurie had 1 minute and 48 seconds. And Nicola had 1 minute and 23 seconds.
Wonderful. Thank you, Vanya. And let's just see if the polling is done. I think it's done. Yeah, are we ready to share results?
No, you're going to have to store and close and speak a little bit more about your innovative. You're going to be innovative planner here.
Okay. All right. Well, then, can we move on to Paul? And would you provide your counters report?
Definitely. So, Laurie, as a Toastmaster, just be on your seat. 6 hums and 3 ha's. Then I got Vanya as a timekeeper, 3 hums. Then Shireen, your speech excellent, no repetitions, no hums. Nicholas as a grammarian, 1 Michelle, social dilemma. I like the speech, no repetitions, no hums, no ahs, and I'm not part of that whole social media. Then I got Leo, 1 repetition, 1 but no hums, well done. Andrea, 1 2 buts. Nadine, even with your dog barking, only 1 so, very well done. Then Michaela, on the table topics, 2 hums and 1 but. Then I got Shireen on the table topics, 1 and. Then Laurie on the table topics, 1 but, 2 ums, and 2 and. And Michaela on table topics, 1 but and 2 ums. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster.
Wonderful. Thank you, Paul. Well done, everyone. And Nick, would you give your grammarian's report, please?
Sure. The people that used word of the day are Nicola, 1. Give her a little click. We have Shireen, 1, Michelle, 1, and Michaela with 2. Hi, Gabrielle. Okay, to grammarian's report. Michaela, you've started both your roles with the word alrighty. So I used Google because I felt a bit dumb. I thought it was colloquial language, which it is. And it means let's go then. So it's actually quite appropriate. I don't know how appropriate it is to start everything with alrighty, but there definitely is a place to use it. Shireen, very colorful language, animated. I love it. You used a simile where you said you are waddling and walking. I think waddling is actually personification. When you make a human have an animal movement, that's called personification. The simile you used was walking like a duck. You used onomatopoeia, which is when she went swish, and when she went wah, wah, that's using sounds to express. Yeah, that's called onomatopoeia. I loved your use of Afrikaans. It's nice to have another language. It would be nice to have some more South African languages, and it's nice that you translated it. A lovely saying that you used was listen to hear and not to answer, which struck home. You used repetition. We teach, we teach, we teach. We teach our children, and then you use the children, mom, dad, mom, dad. It's a great use to get your points across. Michelle, also very colorful. I can see that you two are from the same cloth. Also lots of figurative language. You use the oxymoron, such as starving us to feed us. You use the quote, which Nicola picked up on, thief of time. I'm not sure who said that. You also used alliteration, the 3 Fs, and you also said the word grow to glow. Yeah, that's about it. Then Leo, you also used the word repetition and alliteration, where you said alive to sounds and alive to smells. I was waiting for one more. Just couldn't roll when you were walking through the street. Alive to sounds, alive to smells. What else can you say? Alive to smiles, maybe. And then Paul, you so wonderfully said spiraling down. And you did it so eloquently with your hands, spiraling down. And you mentioned how the doctor should lie, otherwise the person's life will spiral down. It was lovely. And then Michaela, it's a play on words where you said, I run Teams and Teams runs me. I assume you meant Microsoft Teams. Yes? Yeah, so I had a little giggle. I don't know who of you work and use Microsoft Teams. It's like, And that concludes my role as grammarian.
Oh, wonderful, Nick. Thank you so much. Always thorough, always informative. I would be a bit diffident being the grammarian. So well done. All right, well, this brings us to the end of our meeting. And what a wonderful, intimate meeting that we had. I want to thank all of you who gave your speeches, your evaluators, and stepping up to the plate to do a topic in the table topic session. And you can say the common theme through this evening, of course, we were talking about innovative planning. And 2020, COVID-19 came up quite a bit, whether we're managing our family, our careers, managing the expectations of our children, and going back to school and school stopping, and there's extramurals, there isn't extramurals. but also how social media also played a part in this, where it tried to connect. It tried to get people to connect, where they were looking for ways to find that social connection through Zoom, which what we're doing now, not so much Facebook, but other platforms that we tried to stay connected through lockdown with the technology. And we built resilience through the process. So thank you all for the wonderful topics this evening and the great speeches and evaluations. And I'll hand it back over to you, Nick. Thank you very much.
And let's keep waving our hands for Laurie. She's an absolute natural. I think she could MC any event. So well done, Laurie. I have club business, awards, and feedback from visitors. So first, I'd just like to ask Nadim, how did you enjoy visiting Toasted? I know you've only been a member of Toastmasters for a month, but how is it? Any feedback?
It is very interesting to learn, and I love learning, and I love getting new ideas and seeing new ways of speaking and giving speech. So it was really fruitful meeting for me. Thank you very much, everybody.
Fantastic. Thanks, Nadim. Toast Ed actually started with the collaboration between TEDx, that's where the ed comes from, but now we've actually transformed it for the ED stands for education. So I'm glad to hear that you actually are learning something. And Leo, how was your second experience at Table Topics?
Every time I speak, it's a different experience, but every time it's so much more richly rewarding. That's why I keep coming back to Toastmasters, and that's why I've been looking for a new club after the folding of How to Pay. So again, thank you. The interesting topics, always different, always testing, and it's good to be back in the mix again. Thank you.
Good, good. I'm glad you got your fix. Come back on the 19th of April, we will have another meeting. And talking about getting fixes, Andrea, did you get your fix?
I did, Nick. Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure visiting your club. I'd like to invite all of you to visit our club. The challenge will be that you'll need to either be a night owl or an insomniac. We are 6 hours behind you, so it would be around midnight, I think. Here is the link to our club if you're interested. We have a lot of fun. Your club, I love the ideas that were presented tonight. Shireen, hearing your perspective on the challenges of these times that we have, and hearing about your beautiful children. I really enjoyed that. The thought of that we are commodities with social media, that's never crossed my mind before. So thank you for giving me some new things to think about.
Thank you, Andrea, for the link. We will definitely check out your club. How do we get the Zoom link, or how do we, is that there, or do we just follow the link and just click around?
On that link, you'll see there's another one for access to our online meetups to message. And we've done it that way in order to help prevent spammers and Zoom bombers from getting into our meetings. So I welcome you to check that out, and we will email you the link along with information and an agenda.
Brilliant, thank you. And lastly, I'd just like to ask Gabrielle to just tell us if she's ready for her contest on Wednesday.
Hello, everybody. Lovely to see you. I missed you. Missed this evening. And I'm happy to see there's a recording, so I will follow up. Yeah, it was, Nick, the same, the procedure as each time now. I see that we are all informed about the new rules, and 1 meter distance from the camera and so on. Everybody was checked through. So it becomes a routine. And we do district 3 and 4 together. This time I will be on place number 3. and Verity will be on place number 4, so after me, and District 3 will be the first one. Yeah, it's exciting, and I really look forward. This time only one person moves on, and one just takes it with a pinch of salt. What happens, happens. But I'm ready to fight for Toasted. And yeah, that's all I can say. It's exciting. And yeah, I've changed a little bit things in my speech, and I'm happy about it. Thank you as well, Nick, for your input. And I spoke to somebody who advises actors, and she said to me, I shouldn't move so much. I should rather, the words are heavy enough. I should not do so much pointing and doing and so on. Keep it very clean. So at that sentence, when I say, I stand, it was very interesting. She said to me, what do you say in German? You don't say daddy or father. What do you say? I say Vati. She said, so you use Vati. She showed me when I bring my word Vati instead of dad in and say, when I was 34, I was sad, just like Vati, my father. And that's the turnover. And it feels more natural for me. And she advised as well at a later stage to bring a little bit of a, what would I say in German? So I bring German in, translate it immediately. And what was quite interesting, Nick, because you said, I don't need permission because it's my father. And when I'm standing at the door and I said, the door was sealed by the police, I say, the door was sealed by the police. So that's, you know, that's my seal. I broke it. Little things like that. Let's see whether they make it, but it's fun to work on something like that. Yeah, that's what I can tell you. And next, we will let you know, Verity and myself, how we battled.
Good. Well, don't give us all of your speech. That was a lovely little snippet. And we'll have to log in on Wednesday to see.
Yes.
Now it is awards time. I have to do this very eloquently with, is it diffidence? Can we have a drum roll for the best prepared speaker? And it is a tie between Paul Gurmans and Michaela Geldhoff or Geldhoff. Woohoo! We will send your certificates via social media. Right, Michelle? And that's it, guys. So have a lovely evening. For those of you in America, have a lovely morning. Our next meeting is on the 19th of April. So have a lovely Easter weekend. Prepare your speeches. Don't eat lots of chocolates. Practice, practice, practice. And our next theme is high performance leadership. So till then, goodbye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, Vanya.
Bye.
Good job.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers,
Nadim.
Nadim.
Lovely meeting you.
Love meeting you too. Bye.
Good luck on your journey. Bye. Oh, Vino.
Yeah. It's been a Monday. Awesome. Abigail wanted to chat. Is Abigail joining this meeting?
No,
She was.
You.
Yeah, Abigail is. Oh, maybe she wanted to speak to the timekeepers afterwards. So I think she would be free now.
Oh no, it's okay. She WhatsApped me. She'll do a WhatsApp call. Okay, that's great. That's fine.
Okay.
No, it's fine. No problem. Yeah, we'll be rooting for you on Wednesday.